Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Royals Field for Rogers TV sports exclusive coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball. This game features the visiting Chatham Ironmen and the hometown Fredericton Royals with former Fredericton senior player Rob Arnold. I'm Bill Gibson. Rob, just a few hours ago here, you wouldn't think there would have been a ball game.
No, not the way the rain was coming down, but things cleared up, and I don't think we could ask for a better night now.
It's a beautiful night now, and kudos to the city crews for getting the field ready, and also to the Rogers crew for sticking through the rain. Just set here for first pitch. It's Ori Cook digging in for Chatham against Pascal McCarthy on the mound for the Royals. Rob, Pascal, not a lot of innings pitched this year.
He's got 13 innings pitched. He's carrying a 4.61 ERA. But as I said, that's only in 13 innings, so sometimes that can be a little deceiving.
And a 1-1 record on the year. Opens with an 0-2 count on Chatham center fielder Ori Cook. And Rob, this battery of McCarthy and Kavanaugh would certainly have some time together in the junior ranks most recently.
Definitely. They would know each other well.
Strike three on the outside corner fastball. Goes down looking. That brings up left fielder Mike McKay for the Ironmen. As McCarthy sets on the mound, McKay digs in. That one's fouled back.
Mr. McKay shows only having played 2 games with the Ironmen this season. He's carrying a 256 batting average.
And he's another junior affiliate player, Rob.
Yes, he is.
One ball, one strike. And Rob, these two teams met here last Friday night, certainly a Royals victory, and we'll talk about the season series here in a bit. Since that time, Royals have not played. Chatham's played 2 games against Moncton, and the offense has been certainly red hot in those 2 games, scoring just a pile of runs in those 2 against Moncton. So McCarthy with his work cut out for him to shut them down here tonight.
Yep, young Mr. McCarthy just sets down another one for the second out. He went down looking.
Bring up third baseman Chris Keating, who leads the league in stolen bases and is also among the pickups for nationals for Royals. Keating sort of an uncharacteristically low batting average, but he's been certainly hotter of late.
He's got 19 hits registered and 89 at-bats for a 213 average. Don't think that's quite accurate for if he was to put up his season numbers. He's a better hitter than that.
And again, with the outside strike, Keating behind 0-1.
McCarthy's doing a good job of getting ahead of these hitters, the first 2 hitters. I think the idea is to throw strikes and let the team get a little bit of rust off after sitting for a week.
And as we'll see here in a bit, there's very few games left in the schedule, but they're certainly all meaningful from a standing standpoint, and very little is for certain in terms of the seedings as we look towards the playoffs in just a couple weeks' time.
Yeah, there's no weak teams, that's for sure.
That's high, runs the count in 2-1.
That's the first of the 3 hitters that he's fallen behind in the count. We'll see if he comes back with. He can be tough when he's on his game.
It's a low fastball. 3-1. And that's grounded to the second baseman Crossman, who will field and throw to first to Mackenzie Washburn to record the out. In the top of the first, 2 strikeouts for McCarthy and a ground ball in the inning. And we'll go to the bottom of the first with the Royals coming to bat.
There's something I have to show you.
Get the ultimate entertainment experience with the Movie Network.
Let's go!
We got the latest releases and the hottest stars.
Wow.
But it gets even better.
Oh my God.
Now with the TMN Go app, you can download the biggest movies.
Hi, boy.
Plus groundbreaking HBO series.
Yeah!
And watch anytime, anywhere.
I'm ready.
No internet connection needed.
Wait, what?
It's all included with your subscription to the Movie Network.
Tune in this Monday and pin it for a high-octane behind-the-scenes look at the sport of motocross right here in the Maritimes. Host Jimmy Chamberlain is a seasoned vet and knows his way around and off the track. It's the Age of Motocross, Monday at 8:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
We go to the bottom of the first inning here at Royals Field. Fredericton Royals hosting the Chatham Ironmen. And here we have a look at the league standings, Rob. Chatham in first place, game and a half up on St. John. Fredericton sits 2.5 back. Moncton Fisher Cats 5 out, and Charlottetown Islanders 6 out. With the games yet to be played, the only thing for certain, I believe, is that the Islanders will be in the 4-5 game. I ran some scenarios looking at the remaining schedule, and I think Fredericton still has a chance to be tied for the most wins in the league, and also still the possibility of falling all the way to 4th. And that 4th place is certainly where you don't want to be. You don't want to be in that 4-5 game, particularly if you have to go against Brody McDonald and Jordan Stevenson, the 2 aces for the Charlottetown Islanders.
Exactly. You never know what they're going to come up with. They've got a good team. They're a little inconsistent, but...
And here we have a look at the batting lineup for the Royals. Tanner Banks leading off. Dave Crossman hitting second. Mike Washburn, the shortstop, hitting third. Jody Peterson, left fielder, in cleanup. Corey Wood, center field. Sean Reed is DHing. Corey Kavanaugh, junior call-up, is catching. Batting eighth, Colby Lyle. And at first base, Mackenzie Washburn.
All right, fans, here we go. Put your hands together for the leadoff man tonight for your Royals. Number 7, the right fielder, Tanner Banks.
That brings up Tanner Banks. Banks, whose average has crept up over 300 to this point in the season. Now at 318. And he will dig in against Chatham pitcher Gary Ryder.
Tanner's showing 34 hits in 107 at-bats for 318 average, so he's having a solid season.
And certainly provides some speed at the top of the Royals order.
Yes, he does.
Fouls that one back to the screen.
Gary Ryder on the mound for Chatham. He's been in 7 games. He's thrown 31.2 innings, given up 36 hits. He's carrying a 4.26 ERA at this point, so probably not where he'd like to be, but ERAs tend to be a little higher in senior ball. There's a surplus of hitting in this league, that's for sure.
And that was outside for the 1-1. And Ryder, not a strikeout pitcher, only 8 strikeouts on the year to go with 9 base on balls. Banks fouls that one back again. So he's a little bit behind. The 1-2 pitch. That's in the dirt to even the count.
Tanner's got a couple of home runs this year, 13 RBIs. But as I said, he's the leadoff man. He's 318, good speed. He's hitting 318, and he's good on the base path. So if we can get him on, things happen.
And again, fouled off. Started at the screen straight back, and then a little farther down, and now he's catching up that one a little bit more each time. And we think that one was pretty close to the Rogers truck out there. The 2-2 is high.
Gary Ryder doesn't throw particularly hard, but he's been around. He's crafty. He's been around the league for quite a while now.
That's going to be ball 4. So Banks draws the leadoff walk against Ryder. And here we have the Chatham
Now
defense.
batting the second baseman.
Will come into play. Mike McKay in left, Ori Cook in center, Cody Dixon in right. Around the infield at third base, Chris Keating, Blake Gallagher at short, Matt Logier at second, Nick Leggett at first. Catching will be Jeff Watkin and the pitcher Gary Ryder.
Dave Crossman's coming to the plate. He has 66 at bats this year. 20 hits. He's hitting .303, so he's a shade over 300. Good cut there.
He's out front on that one.
I think he had bad intentions on that pitch. He was swung from the heels.
And he's very quietly, Rob, made himself into a key cog in this Royals unit.
He trained hard in the offseason. I recognize him from the gym, the weight room. He spent a fair amount of time in there over the winter, and maybe paying off for him because I know he's added some size and some strength. That
Banks
won't
with
hurt
a
him.
healthy lead and back again. So that's 2 throws over. Count is 0-1. Ryder with the look to Banks. To the plate. And that is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Royals with Mike Washburn on deck, hitting at a 429 clip. I'm sure they'd like to get another runner on there for him.
And not only the 429 clip, Rob, but he's, I believe, leading in Triple Crown and also tied for the most runs scored in the league with Banks, I believe.
Yes, I believe he is.
And Banks on first is certainly the focus of the attention for Ryder here. It could be dangerous. That ball is fouled off, 1-2.
Looked like Banks might have been on his way on that pitch.
The signs from Coach Lint at third. Crossman steps back in.
We have Mike Washburn on deck and Jody Peterson in the hole, so I'm sure Mr. Ryder doesn't want to put anybody else on at this point.
And there's another attempted pickoff, and Banks dives back in safely. Good hands by Leggett on that one, that low throw. That's high. 2-2.
Banks is getting quite a lead over there first. He's got a very good lead, generous lead.
Back might have had him leaning just a little bit that time, but not Ryder's best move. He think the move before that was a little quicker.
Yeah. He's been around. He knows what he's doing, Ryder, but yeah, I think he missed that one.
So 4 throws to first and 4 to the batter for the 2-2 count. Second batter of the game here in the bottom of the first. Banks going. That's lined up the middle, right to second base. And that's a tailor-made double play ball.
Couldn't have been hitting a better place for the Ironmen to get out of that with a double play.
Now entering the batter's box. Let's hear it for the shortstop, number 5, Mike Washburn.
Here is the Triple Crown candidate.
Washburn with 30 RBIs on the year. I'm sure the Royals would have liked to have given him a shot there with a runner or two on, but that didn't happen.
Now Ryder for the chance to go right at Washburn with no runners on.
Washburn 39 hits and 91 at-bats for for a 429 clip. Definitely one of their better hitters.
And Washburn digs in. And he lines that one into right field for the single. Picked up by Dixon in right. He gets it back in. That'll bring Jody Peterson to the dish. Rob, Jody, of course, didn't start the year as part of this Royals lineup. Came back midstream, and it's just about the Jody Peterson of old in terms of average. Not quite as many home runs as he may be accustomed to, but certainly still able to play at a high level. And good to see old guys like you and I can still play a little bit when needed.
Yeah, Jody's only got 2 homers this year, but he's still hitting over 300. He's hitting 317 at this point. So he's still a good contact hitter. He's got 13 hits and 41 at-bats registered.
Takes that one
317 average.
Outside for ball 1. And that's a nice looking breaking ball there from Ryder.
Yeah. Peterson took a rip at that one. He's not getting cheated up there, that's for sure.
1-1, and certainly Ryder not paying near as much attention to Washburn at first as he was to Banks. Barely a glance over. That's an outside strike. And we've seen that consistently here the first inning, both the top and the bottom batters not liking that outside strike call from the home plate umpire.
I don't think Jody thought much of that pitch, actually.
That one is low and outside, even the count at 2-2.
Looks like he's throwing a steady diet of off-speed pitches so far. Just missed outside.
So full count, 2 out. Washburn will be on the move here at first with the pitch.
Ryder may check him if he gets too far off. And he did.
There he is, good check.
Didn't know I was psychic, but
Well, there's a story about a blind squirrel and a nut, Rob. I'm not sure it applies here. I think we'll go with the psychic. And Peterson puts that one off of first base. Fair ball off the first baseman Leggett. Ball into right field, and Washburn will advance to third base.
and at this point, that those 2 runners that were doubled off becomes a bigger issue.
That's a tough play there at first. I'm not sure whether that will go as a hit or an error into
It was tough.
into that raked area. And that will go as an error. We get the word from your official scorer here in the booth.
So that brings Corey Wood to the plate. Corey's hitting 222 right now. Not characteristic of him. He's a better hitter than that, but people struggle sometimes. He'll come around.
And there's that outside strike call one more time. And Wood, of course, lots of power and certainly capable of knocking one out of the fence here if Ryder leaves one in a bad spot.
Yeah, he's got 3 on the year.
And that's outside. 1-1. Royals first and third. Leadoff walk erased on the double play. Single by Washburn, and the E3 to put Peterson on and Washburn to third here in the bottom of the first. And there's the outside strike one more time. Count 1-2. Wood now in a defensive position, Rob. Ryder delivers a little sidearm, and Wood hits that one.
It is
Gone over the fence. And
That ball seemed to carry.
That ball did carry, and if you get to be psychic on the check at first base, I get to be psychic on the home run, Rob.
I'll give you that one. And off. pitch at all. It seemed to carry.
And there it is. It did carry a long way. Right over Mike McKay's head. McKay, I don't think could believe that one.
Opposite field home run for Corey Wood.
Takes the Royals to the 3-0 lead here. And that's a very quick start to this offense. Strike one to
Sean Reed.
and Reed lines that one.
Solid base hit. Sean Reed hitting 389 at this point. 36 at bats. He's registered 14 hits. That would be number 15 there. That was a solid base hit.
Now batting for your Royals, number 49, the catcher, Corey Canada.
So 3 hits in the inning now for the Royals. Brings up Corey Cavanaugh. Junior call-up and certainly been very hot at the dish. Number of homers in the junior semifinal against Prince Edward Island. And discussion here in the press booth before the game, thinking maybe with the look of his pants, he's a little superstitious with all the home runs coming off his bat and not wanting to wash away the good luck.
Corey only has 3 at-bats registered. He's carrying a 333 average.
And that is outside.
So what looked like might be a quick inning swung in a hurry in the Royals' favor. A 3-run homer by Corey Wood. That all happened with 2 out.
Yeah, so that ball is hit foul down the third base line for Coach Lint. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ryder regrouping.
Ryder is a bit of a horse as far as innings go. He'll eat up innings when they need him.
And there we are, strike 3 to Cavanaugh. So the Royals score 3 runs on 2 hits and an error in the bottom of the first, pardon me. The big blow, the Corey Wood home run. And we'll be back with the top of the second.
It was Vortigern who murdered your father. But what you didn't account for is what you can do with this sword.
Show the people the power of the Excalibur!
We're going to South America.
Where the hell are we?
The scenic routes.
Oh my God, we think Liam Neeson's taken! I'm gonna get us out of this.
Did I ever tell you guys the story of how
That guy almost ripped my shirt off!
I come here to drown my sorrows. You're fresh.
I'm gonna cut some pancetta!
Am I right, bro?
I can't decide how many powers you need to have to be more important than folk music.
I'm just going to saw this log while you continue to talk. I've been through a lot of accidents in my life, almost more than I can tell. And scene.
Cheese Monkey Box Pirate, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
In the top of the second inning, the Chatham Iron will send the catcher, Jeff Watkin, shortstop Blake Gallagher, and right fielder Cody Dixon to the plate. Certainly 3 very dangerous and hot hitters coming off, all coming off a big game in Moncton on Monday. Watkin 3 for 5 home runs, 3 RBIs. Gallagher 2 for 2 and 3 base on balls. And Cody Dixon, who may just be the hottest hitter in the league, was 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs in that game, backing up a 4 for 5 game on the day before. So he comes in here 6 of his last 8 and just absolutely on fire. Certainly was no issue for Pascal McCarthy on the mound for the Royals in the top of the first with 2 strikeouts looking and the easy ground ball to second base. We'll see if he can keep that up here in the second, Rob.
Yeah, we got some tough hitters coming up here. Gallagher's carrying a 349 batting average. Not much for power numbers, but his average is solid. Watkin coming in at 346. He's coming to the plate now. And he has 4 homers on the season, so he's a definite threat.
And Watkin will see a lot of catching duty, you would think. He's one of the pickups for the Fredericton Royals going again to Nationals, and we'll talk about that at some point here, I'm sure, Rob, in terms of what that schedule looks like and the pickups they've announced.
I would expect he'd be a good addition for sure.
Certainly the import for the Ironmen played here in the Nationals at Royals Field last year with Tecumseh out of Ontario. That's a ball in the dirt. So 0-1 count to catcher Jeff Watkin to start the top of the second. And that's high for ball 2.
I think if you're Pascal McCarthy at this point, your best bet is to concentrate on throwing strikes, let your fielders do the work. Try to keep your pitch count down and go from there. He's got a solid D behind him.
And certainly with the lead, that's what you would look for. And of course, these teams met just here at Royals Field last Friday. 7-0 Royals lead. They got to 4 runs in Ryder at that game and 5 innings pitched. And certainly looking to do the same here.
Yeah, 3 runs is not a big lead in this ballpark with the short porches down the lines at 304. Things can change in a hurry, so you have to be careful of that. But it is obviously more comfortable to pitch with a 3-0 lead for sure.
Bounces that one. Kavanaugh with a little bounce behind the plate trying to block that, but certainly didn't need to. No one on base, just let that one go.
Chatham has one of the tougher hitting orders to face in the league, for that matter. They're all carrying pretty good numbers and power numbers as well. That's a walk issued, Mr. McCarthy.
Yeah, Chatham comes in hitting 275 as a team, which is good for third in the league. Fredericton number 1 at 286, so certainly a very strong hitting team. And Watkin draws the walk to lead off the second. The first base runner for the Ironmen of the night, and that brings up shortstop Blake Gallagher.
Blake Gallagher hitting 349 on the season. He's got 29 hits and 83 at-bats. Right now, he's only got the 1 home run, 15 RBIs. But he's a good average hitter, 349.
And Gallagher, of course, Rob, also going to Nationals with Royals.
Another solid pickup.
That's inside, 2 balls.
Little message there from Pascal McCarthy, I believe.
So McCarthy with a bit of difficulty finding the strike zone here with the 3-0 lead in the top of the second. See if he can settle down.
He'd be better off to let his defense help him here and throw some, just come at them with the fastballs.
He finds the range on that one. And Rob, often that first pitch when the pitcher's been pitching out of the stretch and turns around and certainly out of the windup and turns around and goes to the stretch for the first pitch can be a bit different and difficult to find the range there, but he appears like now those last 2 that he's found that from the stretch. Even the count's at 2-2.
Having pitched, it definitely is, Bill, when you change, when you go to the stretch. Some guys throw from the stretch all the time, whether there's runners on or not, which I guess is an art in itself. But McCarthy seems to have a good arm on him. Solid.
And
there's an opposite field single.
Line for a single, picked up by Banks. He gets it back in quickly. Watkins safe at second.
Nobody out.
So here we are talking about the Chatham offense
Batting
and
for the
how
Ironmen,
hot
the
they've
right
been.
fielder, number 21, Cody Dixon.
Cody Dixon coming off 2 very monstrous games against Moncton. 2 for 3, 4 RBIs last game, and 4 for 5 the day before on Sunday the 6th. Both big wins by Chatham against the suddenly struggling Moncton Fisher Cats. And that's a swinging strike. Nobody out, 2 runners on the base and balls and opposite field single.
Cody Dixon does have 13 RBIs on the season. He's hitting at a 314 clip. No home runs, but he's up there in the RBI count. 13's nothing to, he's no slouch as far as hitting goes.
And another swinging strike off speed again.
Got him with a good off-speed pitch there. He fooled him.
So do you come back with 3 in a row here, Rob, or do you go with a little gas?
Personally, I don't have much gas, but I'd probably come at him with what I had. He opted for the breaking ball. Actually, a slider, I believe it was.
Fouled off there to remain at 0-2. And Mike Washburn in from shortstop to talk to McCarthy. Maybe a little bit about pitch selection there, maybe, or defense.
Could be both, but I see they're going back to the same defensive position, so they're giving him quite a bit of a hole between second and third. Not expecting him to pull the ball, apparently, I guess.
And Washburn gets in behind the runner, but no throw.
Pascal McCarthy, kind of an interesting athlete. He's quite a volleyball player, actually. Plays, I know him as well from the gym. He's around the gyms quite a bit, in good shape.
And that's down to third base. Colby Lyle with the pickup, tags third. Tries to throw to first for the double play in the dirt. And just gets the 1. Maybe should have not made that throw, Rob.
I would say he should have eaten that one. Kept on, held on to it, I guess. If he throws it away, all of a sudden they have runners on second and third. With 1 out, which it would not be a good situation either. Nolan Levi at the plate. Presently carrying a .244 batting average. Having said that, he's only got 17 at bats, so.
And I'm guessing that one was low, Rob. It looked fairly
looked to be on target, but
fairly over the plate on target to me. A little bit difficult to tell from up here. I'm obscured a little bit by a post, so there is the outside strike one more time.
He's given that outside strike. He's given it to them, at least on the left-handed hitters. The right-handed hitters, I'm not so sure.
1-1. Chatham runners on second and first. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nasty cut there by Mr. Levi. We've got 1 out at this point.
McCarthy delivers the big bender. And that bent around the plate outside.
Didn't bend much of all, actually. Didn't come in for him. Sometimes tough to get that snap on the hand to get that breaking ball to move for you.
Heads the sign and delivers. That's fouled off. Levi stays alive.
I believe that was the same pitch. I'm not sure if it's a slider he's throwing there or what Scott Sanderson of the Montreal Expos used to call years ago. He called it a slurve. Somewhere between a slider and a curve. Not quite as fast as doesn't have the velocity of a fastball, but it's a steady break from the time it leaves your hand. Almost a loop, if you will.
Kavanaugh returns to the plate after the conference on the mound, certainly getting together on pitch selection with McCarthy here.
This could be a key point in the game right now with a 3-0 lead, but 2 runners on and only 1 out. I'd like to have this guy.
Gallagher bounds off second, and there is the swinging strike for the second out.
That's a big out.
McCarthy records his 3rd strikeout of the game.
And I think Mr. Levi actually chased a ball there. I think that might have been another ball. It looked high. but from up here again. It's easy for us to say.
Brings first baseman Nick Leggett to the dish.
Leggett hitting .264 on the season. 26 at bats. Sorry, 87 at bats. 23 hits.
That's a fastball down the pipe for strike one. Blake Gallagher on second, Cody Dixon on first. 2 down here in the top of the second inning. And McCarthy steps off and looks the runner back at second.
This would be a good jam to get out of. Obviously any jam's good to get out of, but this one could be key with a 3-0 lead.
And certainly you would like to get the number 8 hitter here and lead off the next inning with the number 9, Logier.
Definitely.
Instead of turning the lineup over.
Yeah. You don't want the top of the lineup to come up with the runners in position, ideally. Not when it's a solid top lineup like it is with the Chatham carries.
1 ball, 1 strike. And that ball is fouled off. Again in the direction of the parking lot. So we have a 1 ball, 2 strike count.
I recall this ballpark years ago, and I'm talking late 70s, early 80s, and you used to hear the crash. They didn't have quite the netting that they have now, and the automobiles, there used to be a lot of broken windows.
That's a 2-2, and I think Pascal thought he had that call.
Yeah, he wanted that one.
Rob, like you, I can remember the number of baseballs that used to go down off the hill here and chasing them all the way down.
All the way down Morrison Street.
All the way down Morrison Street to the, it was still the cotton mill at that time and not Marysville.
Yeah. And it was also the Marysville Royals and not Fredericton Royals at that time.
And there is another strikeout to end the inning. Chatham with 1 hit, 2 runners left on, no runs. We go to the bottom of the second with the Fredericton Royals leading 3-0.
The journey through life is run a little differently by everyone. The War Amps helps put a little bounce in Jericho's step.
They've given us so much. Without the War Amps, I don't know where we would be right now, to be honest with you. But just looking at him now and the way he's living, I know he's gonna go further than what I could imagine.
Always try your best and never give up.
Tune in to Rogers TV for Jared and the Storytellers, and hear some of the best musical talent New Brunswick has to offer. Join songwriter Jared Lutz as he hosts, performs, and interviews musicians during each episode, with a lighthearted approach and a focus on songs and the stories behind them. Jared and the Storytellers will have you craving for more homegrown music on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the bottom of the second inning. Fredericton Royals leading the Chatham Ironmen by a score of 3-0. Rob, so far the story has been Pascal McCarthy striking out 4 Ironmen and the big blast for the Royals, Corey Wood with the 3-run home run in the top of the first, and all that, of course, happening with 2 out.
Yes, and they were fortunate Chatham didn't rally on that last one. McCarthy pitched well to get out of that. His defense hasn't been allowed to help him much. He's been throwing a lot of pitches, actually.
Third baseman Colby Lyle steps in for the Royals. And that's lined up the middle, and a great grab there at second base by Matt Logier.
Solid contact.
We'll go as the first out. We'll bring up number 9 hitter, Mackenzie Washburn. Washburn, a guy, Rob, who you can see all over the diamond, a little bit of time at first. I've also seen him at third base this year, maybe a little bit of second. Can also maybe catch a little bit. He's done a little bit of everything for the Royals.
Yeah, he's registered for 32 at-bats. He hasn't played as much as...
Oh, and there's another great play.
That was a nice play. Long fly ball.
And here we have the replay. That's hit the opposite way. Initially, I thought that was going to be a foul ball, and here you see McKay in the outfield right against the fence at the 304 with a great grab. Call them two defensive gems here for the Ironmen to start the inning.
It would appear this is one of the nights at Royals Field where the ball's carrying, because he didn't seem to hit that hard, but it just seemed to carry and carry. I'm sure the outfielders feel the same way.
And I think his eyes might have got a little big on that one himself. Robbie had his first ever home run here last Friday night, again against Ryder at Royals Field.
Yeah, he was probably had ideas for sure. Tanner Banks at the plate. Top of the order.
So two very quick outs. And that's back up the middle. Gallagher at short gobbles that one up. Easy throw over to first and a good stretch by Leggett to pick that one up.
That'll do it.
Quick bottom of the second inning for the Royals. They go 1, 2, 3 and on, I think, 4 pitches. And we'll go to the top of the third inning with the Chatham Ironmen with a little momentum coming out of that inning, trailing 3-0.
Tune in Sunday and cruise through New Brunswick's trails with a first-hand view from a quad vehicle. Learn about new trails and clubs for the ATV enthusiast. Quad NB, Sunday at 2 p.m. on Rogers TV.
We should see a replay here of Blake Gallagher on that Tanner Banks ground ball. He had to rush the throw, and actually a nice pick by the first baseman as well. That was a little low. That was the third out, and from the top of the order of the Royals, Tanner Banks. That inning ended on 4 pitches, believe it or not. That half of the inning.
So aggressive bats, a couple of good defensive plays, certainly a gem in left field by McKay.
I would think the Royals are going to have to try to work Gary Ryder see a few more pitches. 4 pitches just isn't going to do it. On a horse like him, he can throw all night.
And certainly after the first inning, where they made him work considerably, let him off the hook a little bit easier on the second.
Yeah, you got to keep. They got to settle in here and see. But as you said, a week off wouldn't help any. Back in the plate, back in the batter's box, it's a different view when you've been out for a week. So.
Number 9 hitter Matt Logier steps in for the Ironmen.
That's not to take away from Gary Ryder's pitching. Just I think he's a crafty pitcher, but I think they need to work him for more pitches.
That's low for ball 1.
McCarthy starts with a fastball, just a little low. That's Matt Logier at the plate for Chatham.
Fairly light hitting on the year, Rob.
Fairly light at 161, but not a ton of at-bats, 56 at-bats. Probably not where he'd like to be, but that's the way it goes sometimes, I guess. McCarthy missed wide that one.
3-0 count.
He's got to bear down on throw strikes if he has to take a little off, maybe. Let the defense help him out here because his pitch count is going to creep up.
Certainly, you would think he would be going right at the number 9 hitter here, not to get back to that top of the order with a runner on.
He took a little off there, and I think that's what he's got to do, especially like you say, to a fairly light hitting. Not that there's any light hitters in the senior league, but I mean, power-wise, give this guy a chance to make contact. Let your fielders help you out.
There is ball 4.
See, they can't help you out when you're throwing pitches outside and walking people. There's just no. It's got to bear down.
Turns over the lineup, brings up the leadoff hitter, Ori Cook. Struck out looking in the top of the first inning for McCarthy's first strikeout of the game. Has 4.
He's 273 average.
Lozier short lead at first. McCarthy gives him a look. And delivers. That's a strike.
Right down the pipe, that one.
In front of Cook one more time.
It's important to get ahead of these guys, as he did in the first inning. When he gets behind, I think that's when he gets himself into trouble.
Cook 2 hits in each of his last 2 games, again against the Moncton Fisher Cats. 2 base and balls and 2 RBIs in the Monday game. One ball, 1 strike. Chatham looking for some runs to claw back on this 3-0 lead. And that's fouled off, the 1-2. Catcher Corey Cavanaugh throws that back to McCarthy, the new ball from the umpire. One ball, 2 strikes. And that's slapped to third base off the bag.
Be a fair ball off the bag.
That's a fair ball. Lyle fields it, and he smartly doesn't do anything with that one. Maybe off the bag there. I'm not sure Lyle would have had a play, even if that goes by the bag, and potential for that to get down the line. So maybe call that one a push. I'm not sure it was a break for either team.
Oh. Well, it's definitely a lucky break for Chatham. Not sure he would have been able to make a play on that, but he didn't have a chance with it hitting the bag like it did. 2 men on, none out.
So that will go as a single for the second Chatham hit of the game. Brings up left fielder McKay, who had that stellar catch. The second out in the bottom of the second. That's inside for ball 1. And again, we have two Chatham runners on and no one out.
McKay hitting at a 250 rate right now. Oh, he's someone opposite way. It's going to be fielded.
That's for Banks. Banks fields. No tag. And cut off by Washburn, Mike Washburn, the shortstop.
Smart play by Banks to get that in quick.
There we see Banks camps under that one, takes a look at the runner and realizes not going, but gets it back in fast, just in case.
Both of these runners fairly fleet-footed, I would say. Small guys, look like they're got some speed, I would suggest. So we got 1 out, 2 men on, first and second, 1 out.
Chris Keating also coming off a big game in Monday in Moncton, 2 for 4, home run, 2 stolen bases, base on balls, and 3 RBIs. Could add another 3 RBIs to his total here if he gets into a McCarthy pitch. Bounces that one, blocked by Cavanaugh.
Nice block by Cavanaugh there to prevent that runner from advancing. Keating with 2 home runs on the year, but he does have 13 RBIs, so he's able to put the bat on the ball.
Big spot here for both Keating and McCarthy. 1 out, Keating, of course, looking to at least advance the runners, maybe drive in some. McCarthy looking to get the next out. Keating is into that one, fly ball to left field. Peterson camps under it for the Royals, no tag up.
Wise not to run on Jody's arm. Peterson, I played with him and against him, and he's got an arm, especially at that range.
And there we see Peterson easily camps underneath that ball. and knows the runner's not going, a little easier throw back into the infield.
Should be a good jam to get out of right here for McCarthy. With Jeff Watkin at the plate, solid hitter at 346.
And you won't be surprised again when I say Watkin had another great game against Moncton, 3 for 5 with a home run and 3 RBI.
Showing 4 home runs on my stats, but that may be behind. It might not have that 5th one on it, possibly. But definitely a threat at the plate, especially with 2 runners on.
Drew the base on balls to start the second inning. And then was erased at third base on the ground ball to Lyle. 1 ball, 1 strike, and again, a lot of conversations here between Kavanaugh and McCarthy. You'd think maybe these guys would be a little bit better aligned, having been junior teammates a year ago, and I think they know what they want to throw.
There's been several occasions tonight where McCarthy's been fortunate to have Kavanaugh back there. He's blocked. He's been good defensively. He's blocked some balls in the dirt, and one's hit down the line, just foul. But Kavanaugh's been solid behind the plate. As I mentioned, he's blocked probably 4 or 5 pitches now in the dirt.
That foul ball down in the area. Some of the most fervent Royals fans here at Royals Field. I think every field in the province has got a section where
the legends hang out.
The legends and the diehards hang out, and down in that corner here at Royals Field is the place.
The legends in their own mind.
Yes.
Many of them.
Yes, I've been down there a few times.
Me too.
2 balls, 1 strike, 2 out, top of the 3rd inning. And McCarthy wanted that one as well. 2-2.
That was a tough one. McCarthy. It looked good, but the umpire saw something we didn't apparently.
Loge with a leadoff walk on second. Single by Cook. Has him on first. And then 2 fly balls. Brings us to where we are here.
Big pitch here.
2-2 count to Watkin. And Watkin goes
struck him
down
out.
swinging.
Nice pitch by McCarthy there.
The 5th strikeout for McCarthy.
Nice pitch.
Again, Chatham not able to capitalize on runners on base. And McCarthy holds them. We will go to the bottom of the 3rd inning with Chatham trailing the Fredericton Royals 3-0.
Looking for the best way to get the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? Rogers Super Sports Pack has you covered. With MLB Extra Innings, you'll have a premium ticket to over 2,000 out-of-market regular season games, with most games available in HD. Don't miss the action from the games you want from both the American and National Leagues. MLB Extra Innings, part of the Super Sports Pack, the ultimate package for the hardcore sports fan. Order on Channel 431 today.
At St. John Ambulance, we're all about community. We teach life-saving skills and provide community support through our volunteer services. All St. John Ambulance product sales and training registrations support these important services. Volunteer, donate, or enroll in a program today so we can continue to have an impact on our community. Visit sja.ca to learn more. At St. John Ambulance, we do more than save lives, we change lives.
We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning with 2-3-4 due up for the Fredericton Royals. Dave Crossman, Mike Washburn, and Jody Peterson. So heart of the order coming up here. Fredericton with the lead, and Rob, certainly McCarthy's pitched out of trouble the last couple innings, stranding some runners, and Fredericton will look to get the bats going here again, and maybe, just maybe, work Gary Ryder a little harder than they did the bottom of the 2nd.
Yeah, McCarthy was very fortunate to get out of that jam, but full marks for getting out of it. Having said that, not something he wants to keep. You don't want to tempt fate like that against this hitting order.
That will go as a strike to start the inning from Ryder.
Dave Crossman at the plate. takes that one. Breaking ball inside.
Crossman grounded into the double play. Hard hit ball back up the middle as Banks was stealing in the first inning.
Crossman a 300 hitter this season.
Behind in the count here, 1-2. Ryder working fairly quickly. And that's again right back up the middle. That's the same spot. That's a great grab by the second baseman. And of course, no throw. Logier, good effort to knock that down. That will certainly go as a single for a Crossman.
Yeah, tough one. Bringing Mike Washburn to the plate, especially. It's no pitcher's ideal setup.
And Rob, we've seen two balls batted back up the middle by Crossman. Certainly that's his approach at the plate. Stay to the middle of the field, put it back up the middle, not looking to pull.
They say if you're hitting the ball straight up the middle and line drive in particular, but straight up the middle, whether it's on the ground or in the air, it's a sign that you're on the ball, which is what you want ideally.
And this is a guy here that's been on the ball all year and for several years in this league. Mike Washburn, of course, two-time Triple Crown winner.
He's as good as any hitter in this league, but no problem.
As we talked about previously, leading the Triple Crown, right now.
He's a two-time winner of the Triple Crown, as a matter of fact.
Yes. And
probably as good as any hitter in Canada as far as senior baseball goes. I didn't see any better at the Nationals, really.
Single to right. Yeah, single to right in the first. And he takes that one for a strike. Ryder dangerous, falling behind Washburn. 3-0, comes back with the strike.
Yeah, you definitely want to be careful with him at the plate with 8 home runs and a .429 average.
And that will go as ball 4 in the dirt.
Crossman weaks his way down to second on that. Catcher had no play. That'll bring Jody Peterson up.
Watkin with a stellar job just to block that one, keep him in front of him, prevent that from going to the backstop, and giving Crossman a chance to get to third on that.
Exactly. Jody Peterson at the plate. These are the ones you dream of. Not out, 2 men on. Guys like Jody. They tend to thrive in these situations. See what he's got tonight.
And talk about living a dream. Jody's last year, of course, bronze medal at the Nationals here on home turf, and then a couple big home runs in the final against Moncton, and his longtime nemesis, of course, on the mound for those home runs. Had a chance to walk away sort of fairy tale book style, and decided to come back, and certainly glad to see it.
For sure. I'm sure everybody on the Royal staff were.
After the foul ball, he now is behind 0-2 at the.
Jody's definitely a gamer, so situations like this, he's been in it many times probably, I would expect. He's way outside.
And that's outside, trying to get Jody to chase, of course.
Not going to get a good hitter to chase a pitch that far out, I wouldn't think. Not very often, anyway.
I would think if you're Ryder, you're probably not going to look to give him anything too good to hit here again until you've got at least 2 balls on him.
Exactly.
And Jody
that's hit hard.
Gets into that one. That's hard to center field. And that is off the wall in center field. Crossman digs in and gets to third, so that's going to go only as a long single for Peterson. Hit that one probably 360 feet to center field. Only as a single. Here we see Peterson just short of getting this one out. Ori Cook with a good play off the base of the wall. Get that ball back in quickly. And of course, the runners had to hold up to see what was going to happen with that ball. Crossman maybe didn't read that quite correctly off the bat.
Jody just short of a home run to straightaway center there. Turns into a long single, so I guess there's not far between a long single and a home run. 3-run homer it would have been. Bases are loaded now.
For Corey Wood, the home run hitter in the first inning.
none out. So I would expect that they're going to try to break up any attempts at a double play. I would think the Royals would be trying to take out the chances of that. See what Corey Wood can do. He had to take the bat out of his hands.
A chance to break the game wide open here with a hit.
Yeah.
And played a few more runs.
Ryder looks like he's struggling a little bit to find the plate. I'm sure he's doesn't want to give them anything on his platter, but at the same time he's not hitting those corners like he was. Good chance for Corey Wood here.
And that's off of Ryder. Back up the middle. That will plate Crossman as first baseman Leggett tracks that one down. That was good solid contact off of Ryder, and I'd be surprised if we don't have a visit out to the mound here.
Look to take him in the shin.
To check on that.
He looked to take that one right in the shin.
Yeah, off the shin, and of course bounds away. So that will go as a single off of the pitcher for Wood's second hit of the game. And there, that happened so quick he has no chance to react to that.
Gives the Royals a 4-0 lead as well with the bases still loaded and none out.
Sean Reed, the designated hitter, up.
Ryder's trying to stay outside to these left-handed hitters that he's been facing the last 3 or 4 actually, and he's missing by quite a bit.
Ryder singled in the first, and there's a line drive caught by Nick Leggett at first and doubles off Wood at first base.
That's got to be considered a break for Chatham. Nice play, but at the same time, it was on a silver platter pretty much.
Here you see it, right to Leggett, that sinking liner.
That's why we play the games, I guess.
Brings up Kavanaugh. Washburn on third, Peterson on second.
For Ryder to get out of this would be, I'd say, nothing short of huge at this point with a 4-0, down 4-0. Men on second and third, 2 out. This would be a big out here for him. Give Chatham a chance to get back in the game, perhaps.
Got Kavanaugh swinging in the first to end the inning. And that goes as a strike for a 1-1 count. That's a 2-1 count. Nick Ryder asking where that pitch was.
Yeah, that was close. It was inside, but apparently it didn't catch the corner inside.
2 balls, 1 strike. Kavanaugh swings through that one.
Took a good hack there. There's no use going up there and getting cheated, as they say, so.
So big pitch here for Ryder and the Ironmen. Big at bat. Try to get Kavanaugh here to end this inning and keep the game within reach. And Kavanaugh lines it down the line at third. Washburn scores. Peterson rounds third. That ball's coming into second base, and a close play. Kavanaugh with the head first slide, and he is in with the double.
That's a big 2 RBIs. Big 2 RBIs. Nice piece of hitting by Kavanaugh.
And there you see the line drive down the line. That's a long way to run for Mike McKay on left field. Kavanaugh digging hard around first, has that play in front of him, and he's going to go in, dirty pants and all, head first, and they're not going to get any cleaner on that play.
No chance for the third baseman on that. That was hit too hard down the line. Big hit. 2 runs across. 6-0 lead now at this point.
So 4 hits in the inning for the Royals. Single by Crossman, single by Peterson, single by Wood off the pitcher, and that double for 2 RBIs by Kavanaugh.
Ryder looks to be tiring a little bit. He dropped down sidearm on his first pitch to start this at bat. He's looks to be fatigued, I would say. I wouldn't be surprised if this was his last inning, but he's a workhorse.
That's inside. Of course, also on the lineup card here tonight, JF Naveau and Alex Person, the two aces for the Ironmen. You would think if they're available tomorrow in St. John for the big doubleheader there, that's who would they have them lined up for. Person pitched earlier in the week. I thought we might have actually seen Naveau here tonight. The Royals haven't seen him yet this year.
I would say they're saving those two. Lyle works Ryder for a walk. 2-out walk.
Number 42, Mackenzie Washburn.
Number 9 hitter Mackenzie Washburn to the plate for his second appearance, and of course he had the fly ball to left field on that great running catch by McKay. And here we have Chatham manager out for a mound visit. His team trailing 6-0. And Rob, this is starting to look a lot like the last few games between these teams. July 7th, we had the game here on Rogers TV. Was a 7-0 Royals win, 3 home runs. That was the import Person started that game against Kramer. On July 20th, in Chatham, it was 5-0 to the Royals, and again Kramer versus Person in that game. And last Friday here at Royals Field, it was 7-0 Royals. So the Royals have had Chatham's number here in the last few games after some fairly close games earlier in the year between these two teams, and including 1-1 extra innings in Chatham. So
they've had their number.
The last few games have certainly gone the Royals' way, and Ryder start very similar here. Last Friday.
Looks like they're going to leave him in there. There's 2 out. Maybe they'll let him finish the inning. We may see him next inning. We may not at this point.
It was Tyler King, who's also here tonight, that came in for 1 inning to finish that one. Didn't fare very well on the scorecard with 3 hits and 4 base and balls in that 1 inning.
It looked like it caught his shirt, I thought. Perhaps.
Inside to Mackenzie Washburn. Ryder, that may have been the hardest gas he's thrown here this inning, I think.
I was going to say that was the hardest pitch I've seen him throw so far.
I'm not sure what the message delivered on the mound was, but
I know how it will be received.
Yes. He comes back again with fastball, I think. So maybe he told him to stop nibbling around with some of the breaking balls and
come at them. Definitely picked up the velocity of his pitches, but they're not finding the plate.
3-0, and there is action in the Ironman bullpen. Rob, can you see down the line there to see who's warming up? Check swing, that will go as a strike, and the throw from Watkin down to first, trying to get the out on Lyle straying from the bag.
I would say that is Tyler King warming up for Chatham. You just mentioned him a few moments ago.
Kavanaugh on second, Lyle on first. 3-2 count here. Still in the bottom of the third. Royals leading the Ironmen 6-0. Ryder struggling a bit in this inning, and certainly after the visit by the coach, seems to be trying to come right at Washburn.
I think this might be his last hitter.
And right back up the middle, and he fields that one. Throws to first for the 1-3 putout to end the inning. Royals put up another 3 runs here in the bottom of the third to take a 6-0 lead here at Royals Field. We'll be back very shortly.
Hey, reality stars, we've had enough. Enough ugly cry faces, inflated egos, confession cams, blind dates, naked dates, fantasy dates, hot tub dates, creepy roommates, cringe-worthy auditions, most dramatic anything ever. Enough. Move over, reality. It's been real. But the video stars are taking back TV. Music videos are back where they belong, on TV. Subscribe now.
Everybody come along, everybody sing a song, lighten up and carry on. It's a brand new day.
Welcome back to Royals Field. Pascal McCarthy on the mound for the Royals. 5 strikeouts against 2 hits so far here in holding the Ironmen to no runs. Of course, his teammates on the offensive side have staked him to a 6-run lead. The big blast by Corey Wood, the opposite field home run in the first. Royals score 3 more in the bottom of the third. And have Gary Ryder in trouble. Coming up here for the Ironmen to start the top of the 4th, shortstop Blake Gallagher, the hot-hitting Cody Dixon, and the designated hitter Levi. Gallagher, the shortstop, had a single in the 2nd inning, advanced to second base and was stranded there. So one of the 2 left on base.
Okay. I was just saying that. It was the last 3, yeah. I know, 3 are over. Kramer really don't do it. Yeah. And then he beat them here.
1 ball, no strikes
Yeah.
to Gallagher. McCarthy, the light toss in on that one to even the count. Sun setting here at beautiful Royals Field. Lights taking effect. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McCarthy going right at number 5 hitter Gallagher. Bounces that one to even the count. Bit of a slow worker, McCarthy. 2-2, lots of conversations with Kavanaugh. Set for his pitch. And that's a fastball to third base for Lyle. Backs up a step, bobbles it a little bit. Long throw over to first base, over the head of Mackenzie Washburn, and backed up nicely by Kavanaugh. Here we have the ground ball, and you see the slight bobble by Lyle at third, and that's all it takes. And then he airmails it a little bit rushing, and a big leap by Mackenzie Washburn at first base, and that will go as an E5 on that one. Certainly fielded it clean, would have had the runner. That brings up Cody Dixon, reached on the fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. Gallagher short lead at first. Strike 1 to Dixon from McCarthy. And there is strike 2 on the swinging strike to Cody Dixon. Blake Gallagher again, the moderate lead at first base, held on by Mackenzie. Up the middle for Washburn at short, big hop, a second baseman Crossman, and they turn the double play. No, they don't turn the double play at first. That's first base umpire Mark Thornton on the safe call. Here we have a look at the replay, Rob. Good pickup by Washburn on the high hop off the lip. Good turnaround by Crossman. And a very close play there at first base. Great work by the camera crew there to catch that, and certainly looked like he was safe to me.
Well, they say the tie goes to the runner. It was at the very best the tie. Very least, I should say.
Yeah, it certainly looked safe there, and we had one of those on the last broadcast. We thought the Royals were beneficiary of the call in that last broadcast, and opportunity for another good shot there at first on that one. Certainly the right call there.
It's a nice play by Washburn at short to pick that ball up on that bad hop. Good reflexes on that play.
Ball is fouled off by Levi. Nolan Levi. Behind 0-1. Pardon me, 1-1. Just getting corrections here from the umpire. That's inside.
Yeah, that was a close pitch.
And that's outside.
Didn't get the inside call on that last pitch. So he came back, attempted to go outside, but it crept out on him.
3 balls, 1 strike. That's down the left field line. That's going to go foul into the Royals bullpen, over the Royals bullpen.
Is it fast? That was a hard pitch. One of the harder pitches I've seen from McCarthy tonight.
Well, McCarthy fights back in the count. Now 3-2.
It's interesting to see what he comes with here now. Whether he goes to the curveball again or slider or goes straight fastball.
Struck him out swinging in the second. And that's back up the middle again. McCarthy let that one go, thinking maybe there was a double play involved. Crossman charged, hard charge on that one off the heel of the glove.
I don't think Crossman thought that ball was going to come through. I think he thought McCarthy was going to play it.
Yeah, I think he did.
The only play he would have had, Crossman would have been at first base at that point anyway. The ball didn't come off the grass as hard as it usually does. Runners on first and second, 1 out.
Yes, sir. Is that the official book you've got? I don't know if Moss uses it. Probably uses both. Okay. Have you got the July 4th game against Chatham? Probably. I'll look after. Okay.
So Nick Leggett at the plate.
Yeah, I know Roddy's
He's hitting at a 264 clip this year.
just want to see if there were shutout innings at the end of that one. Is that right?
Batting the second baseman, number 14, Matt Lozier.
You have a hit by pitch there, Rob? Is that what happened? Loads up the bases. Nick Leggett reaches on the hit by pitch.
Yeah, took that to the elbow. Brings up Matt Lozier. Statistics would tell you that he's a light hitter, but
1 ball, 1 strike.
McCarthy missed with a fastball there. A little low, I would say. Looked to be right down the heart of the plate.
Chatham with the bases loaded here in the top of the 4th, 1 out, and certainly needs some runs here. There's a ground ball again up the middle. Shortstop Washburn to Crossman.
Nice play.
Turn the double play to end the inning.
That was big for McCarthy and the Royals.
So there we have Lozier grounding into the double play to end the inning, keep the Royals' advantage, and again McCarthy pitches out of trouble. We go to the bottom of the 4th with the Royals leading the Chatham Ironmen 6-0.
During a routine exam, our daughter's pediatrician detected a heart murmur. We thought an EKG would confirm that we had nothing to worry about, but we were shocked by a diagnosis of pulmonary hypertension.
I was stuck with colors and playtime, not medicine time.
Pulmonary hypertension is a rare, life-threatening lung disease. There is no cure, but treatments are available. Talk to your doctor about pH if you are experiencing these unexplained symptoms. It could save your life.
Tune in to Rogers TV this Sunday to get your exclusive inside look at the operation of the Magnetic Hill Zoo in Moncton. Host Hilary LeBlanc brings you behind the scenes and up close with the animal stars of this attraction. Zoo Files, Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the the bottom of the fourth inning. With Rob Arnold, I'm Bill Gibson here on Rogers TV coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball. We have leading off the inning here, the top of the Royals order, Tanner Banks.
No, I'm good.
Leading things off, the leadoff man. Put your hands together for the right fielder, number 7, Tanner Banks.
Tanner Banks, certainly a potential to be movie star for sure. And Banks takes that one outside.
Pascal McCarthy and the Royals have been lucky. They've been in a couple of jams in the last 2 innings, and they've managed to get out. They got out of that last one with a double play. And there's a base hit by Banks up the middle. Start off the inning.
Banks with the single, reach base for the second time this game. Had the leadoff walk in the bottom of the first, and then the 6-3
Next up for your
in the
Royals, let's
second.
hear it for the second baseman, number 2, Dave Crossman.
That brings up Crossman, the second baseman. Crossman with a single and a run scored in the third. Of course, with the leadoff single in that inning. And Crossman again playing back through the middle, and that one is in the short hole. And
that's a good sign.
Take Banks to second.
That's a good sign. Hitting the ball up the middle and hitting those gaps when you're hitting the ball that hard.
So 2 hard hit balls, 2 singles. That brings a mound visit from the Chatham bench. And this is probably it for Ryder. You'd think this is his second time out, and
you would think.
Rob, we were a bit surprised. I think that he came out to start the inning, given how we thought he was out of gas at the end of the last inning. He might have seen his last batter, and he has now for sure.
Well, he is a horse, and it is King coming in, relief. Number 27.
So Ryder goes
Tyler King.
3 innings, strikes out 1. Walks 3. And is still responsible for 2 more runs out there. And the King, of course, was on the mound here last Friday against the Royals in 1 inning. Gave up 3 runs on 2 hits and 4 base on balls, Rob. So
we'll see if he can best himself on that one. Shouldn't be too difficult, I would hope. But it's easy to say stuff like that up here. You're not out on the mound.
It's very easy to say stuff like that up here. And certainly if this holds, Rob, looking ahead to the remaining games in the schedule, and a great opportunity for us to do that. We saw the standings off the top of the show. Ironmen are in first place, 17 and 11. Fredericton would pick up their 16th win again if this holds, and there's a long way to go, and don't want to be too premature in saying that that's the way this game is going to go. But if that does hold, they would be tied with St. John Alpines with 16 wins, of course, with one more loss. Big games tomorrow in St. John. These same Ironmen make the 3-hour trek to St. John for the doubleheader. I believe 4 p.m. start in St. John. Encourage anyone in the area or fans of baseball in general to get out to that one, because that's big implications. Two teams battling for playoff position, and of course a win for Fredericton tonight would assure them of not being able to be caught by Moncton and not being in that 4-5 game. So a very big game here, and certainly big games the rest of the way on the schedule for all the teams involved.
I would suggest Chatham is going to do whatever they can to just throw so piecemeal together here on the mound. They don't want to use either of those strong arms they have scheduled. I would assume they'd have scheduled for tomorrow. Especially down at this point, down 6-0. It really doesn't serve much of a purpose for them to bring in their better guys.
Certainly be a different story if they had been able to capitalize on some of those opportunities they've had against the Royals and Pascal McCarthy.
Exactly.
Who's pitched very well and pitched out of a few jams so far. So let's see how this one goes. And we still haven't, of course, closed the book on Ryder. Already on the hook for 6 runs. Not sure if they're all earned, but certainly on the hook for 6 runs. And 2 more out there. Would not be a great looking stat line in any league. Maybe softball. I think if I gave up 8 runs in slow pitch, Rob, I'd probably be pretty happy. But
that'd be a good outing.
That'd be a pretty good outing, but certainly not here. And I know he won't be happy with that. And he'll bounce back and be on the mound many more times, and certainly have lots of success, I'm sure.
Yeah, Mr. King brings a different look to the mound here for the Royals to see. He throws harder. I don't think he throws as much of a mix of pitches. He's just more of a fastball guy. That'll bring Jody Peterson up with the bases loaded. Again, I expect Jody won't get cheated up here with his cuts.
And
the 6-0 lead, he'll take his rips, I'm sure.
Walks Washburn on 4 pitches, brings up Peterson. And Rob, this could have become a really short night if Jody gets wind of one here, puts the Royals up by 10, and then Chatham would have one more go around here in the top of the 5th.
Well, he did hit the fence in center field his last at bat. Oh, there's a breaking ball from King. Actually, quite a break on it. Jody took that pitch. He's going to look fastball, I would expect. And that was it. I'm sure he's thinking about that now. That might have been the pitch. Looked a little bit high, but still in the strike zone.
1-1, maybe that one to get the timing. Bases loaded, Banks at third, Crossman at second, Washburn at first. That's the 1-2-3 hitters for the Royals. Cleanup man Jody Peterson, of course, a long-time star in the senior league, and a Triple Crown winner himself, Rob.
Yes,
a number of years ago.
Good hitter. That's high from King. He does throw harder. Not sure how good he is control-wise, and we'll see, I guess. Bases are loaded. Definitely doesn't want to walk a run in for sure at this point. Especially Chatham's had some looks and some chances to get into this game. That one's inside.
Jody,
he's all over the plate.
Also a very patient hitter. Certainly seeing all of those balls to Washburn. Certainly going to make him throw strikes here and bring it into the strike zone. But certainly wouldn't be surprised if he lets loose a big swing here.
He did take a cut there. That was meant for the church out there, I think, in right.
That one fouled straight back.
He just missed that one. Probably like to see it again.
And not much choice but to go right at him here with something. You either have to try to fool him or blow it by him, Rob.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to fool him. Jody's been around too long to get fooled on a pitch like this.
And the veteran catcher Watkin out to the mound to
King, I've only seen one breaking ball from him since he came in, and it actually was quite a sharp break, but I can't imagine he would bring in anything to Jody at this point. Try to stay outside at the very least. Got him with a curveball. Inside. Good
King
pitch.
Strikes out Peterson for the first out. Makes Peterson 1 for 3 on the game.
I believe that was a slider. I'm going to say it was more of a looping pitch.
Corey Wood 2 for 2, home run in the first, 3-run shot, and a single in the third.
Chance to break this thing wide open. It's already a 6-run lead, but again, in a small field, 6 runs is not, comes inside to him with the first pitch.
I think Watkin was set up outside, and that looked like he moved a long way to catch that one.
I think King missed his setup. Inside again.
Inside again. Throw behind the runner. That's into the runner. It gets away from Leggett. Banks thought about it at third, but held up.
Ironman a little bit lucky there. If that had got by the first baseman, could have been looking at a run, or at least a run, possibly two. That throw had gone down the line.
We've seen good hands by Nick Leggett out there several times already this game.
He's had a good game defensively.
So stellar defensive plays to keep that in front. And of course, Banks not wanting to run out of an inning, taking any chances off third here. Bases loaded. Corey Wood at the plate. And
that's
Wood
well
lines that one. That's going to go for another hit.
That's
a gapper. That could score 3. Banks is in to score. Wood is digging for second. Crossman scores, and Washburn holds up at second, so a 2-run double.
How many RBIs is that for Corey Wood tonight?
That would be 5
RBIs
for Corey Wood.
3-run home run and a 2-run double.
And I think he had another RBI on the single as well for 6.
He's got 6 ribbies tonight. Good for him.
So there we see Wood digging for second. As Crossman scores and Coach Limp holding up Washburn at third base. So Wood, the big bat so far, home run, single, double, total of 6 RBIs.
Out of 8 runs. Not a bad night.
Out of the 8 runs scored.
Not a bad night on anybody's stats.
So I close the book on Ryder with 3 innings pitched, gives up 8 runs on 8 hits, 3 walks and 1 strikeout. That's certainly very unofficial line that I have on Ryder in my book. And
he got roughed up, that's for sure.
And didn't get any help from King coming in to strand those 2 runners for sure.
And in his defense, Ryder's defense, he did give his team a chance. They had 2 innings where they had big threats with none out and a couple of runners aboard, and they just didn't capitalize.
Well, that one is popped straight up behind second base. Second baseman Logier makes the play. Washburn fakes the tag at third.
So we've got 2 out.
2 out, Washburn at third, Wood at second.
Now batting, the pitcher, number 49, Corey.
And there you see that sky-high pop fly, and the fielders cross.
They can be tricky, those plays.
3 of them converging there. Almost thought for a second Ori Cook was going to take control of that one coming in, certainly.
Kavanaugh's had what I would call a very strong night behind the plate defensively. He's blocked a lot of McCarthy pitches that were in the dirt, and he's been solid. See what he does at the plate here.
Kavanaugh, a strikeout and a double.
Took a nice cut there, but got by him. King's changing speed quite a bit with his pitches. He does have a little bit of junk, but he's not using it much.
And he delivers a breaking ball here again.
That was close. A nice break on it. Kavanaugh probably took a breath after that one. He wasn't sure if it was going to be a called strike or not.
And there is the strike, Rob.
Takes a called strike there on the outside corner. King threw a little bit of heat there. Does look like he has a little bit of speed. He's got some velocity on those pitches, but he changes speeds quite often, I see.
That's outside as well, maybe looking for Kavanaugh to chase that one. Watkin was set up a fair bit off the plate on that.
I would say he was. A hit here would bring, if it scored 2 runs, would bring in the 10-run rule. At least set it up.
And that is
for the Royals.
Fouled off down the first baseline. Kavanaugh stays alive. 2-2, 2 out.
That's a good piece of hitting to get your bat on that, because it probably was a called strike if he didn't get a piece of it.
Mike Washburn standing on third. Corey Wood on second. Royals up 8 runs on the Chatham Ironmen.
Chatham's had their chances. Just haven't been able to put it together.
And that's fouled right back in our direction, Rob.
Fights another pitch off. Good job by Kavanaugh at the plate.
Retrieved by Lyle, the on-deck hitter.
King hasn't been bad since he came in. He's a little erratic, but he's gets a K on a cut there by Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, the second strikeout of the inning for King. Gets also Peterson in the inning, but the Royals tack on 2 more in the bottom of the 4th to take the 8-0 lead. Coming to the top of the 5th, Chatham will be looking to score a pile of runs.
We're the last Lannisters. Whatever stands in our way, we will defeat it.
I was born to rule the 7 kingdoms, and I will.
If we don't put aside our enmities, we will die. And then it doesn't matter whose skeleton sits on the Iron Throne.
Your mouth can do a lot of amazing things. And your mouth can save a life.
Hi, I'm Tom Wong. I'm just one of close to 1,000 Canadians in search of a stem cell match. We need your help.
A simple swab is all you need to register on the National Stem Cell Database. You could be the one to save a life. Find the hero in you.
Some defensive changes for the Royals here in the top of the 5th inning. Rob, I believe we've got Nick Cadet in for Jody Peterson in left field as one of the changes, for sure, and Jonathan So is into the game as well. I believe he's going to second base for Crossman, I believe.
Would have for Ribbage coming in.
And Pascal McCarthy returns to the mound, having held the Ironman offense that was on fire coming in the last 2 games, coming into this one to no runs on 2 hits. With 5 strikeouts so far here in this game. And we'll have the top of the order up in the 5th inning for Chatham. It will be the center fielder, Ori Cook.
Sorry, couldn't help you.
And the first pitch of the inning is a strike on the outside corner to Cook, and Cook is behind in the count for the 3rd time. Rob down 0-1, strikeout looking in the 1st and singled in the 3rd. And I don't think he's been too happy with those outside strike calls all night long, but it seems like it's been there both ways. And there he takes that outside pitch, grounds to second base.
He's speedy. Solid
By
leadoff hitter.
The second baseman, So.
Don't think Ori Cook is overly pleased with the umpire tonight, the home plate umpire.
Left fielder Mike McKay up. Strikeout looking in the first. And a fly out to right. And here you see Cook grounding that one up the middle. Another high bounce on the infield. And nice pickup by So and over to first base for the out. And Rob, certainly, I was up here a little bit early and walking around on the field a little bit. Walked out to center and to the pitcher's mound shortly after the rain. And despite the rain, most of the field very, very hard. The few spots where, of course, you could see at the start of the game and still now on the field that needed some raking, they were a bit soft and needed a few bags of the drying material applied to get the game underway. But not surprised by the high bounces we're seeing. Even despite the rain, field has been dry and pretty hard.
Definitely the weather we've had with a lack of rain, the field needs water. That's for sure. Seemed to swallow that up pretty easily. That little storm we had earlier. Field looks to be right now looks to be in prime condition actually.
Yeah, field in pretty good shape.
Have a good staff here as well, which helps.
Yes, being a former member of the Royal Field ground crew, I will take that one and thank you for saying that. My nephew's on the crew here this year, so good to get that plug in.
Yeah. That's one thing we've always had good staff up here. The rec department has always done a good job at this field, especially. The game changed here as well. I think it changed a fair amount when they put the grass infield in. It took the game from a dirt infield, which I played on, I know, and it speeds it up. I would say when the balls hit on the ground, it speeds up on the grass. You got to be a little quicker. But you don't get as many bad bounces, I don't believe.
And Rob, you also would have played back in the age of aluminum bats.
And the Toothless Hill on third base, they called it Toothless Hill. There was a little bit of a grade around third base. They couldn't seem to fix it. I think there was a few teeth lost on ground balls and the good old Easton aluminum bats. Boy, the ball came off those at a different speed.
Base on balls to McKay to put a runner on first. And Chatham has had runners every inning except the first. Not been able to play to run, so McCarthy's been able to pitch out of trouble all game long. And now Chris Keating to the plate. Ground ball to second base and a fly ball to left. And his resume for the game so far. Okay, with a fairly good lead.
It was a nice pitch there. Hard breaking ball, actually.
And certainly no reason for McCarthy not to come right at these hitters at this point with the eight-run lead. Make them put the ball in play. Certainly no nibbling.
Yeah, there's no use.
The corners.
He might as well come right at them at this point. He's thrown a lot of pitches. I'm not sure of his pitch count. He's run the count up a fair amount on quite a number of hitters.
I think the most he's gone so far in a game this year, Rob, is 5 innings. So he's not, I don't believe, had any complete games. That's Lau with the nice grab and then long throw. Royals in a bit of a shift there on.
Yeah, he was cheating for sure. Over to the towards second, he was cheating there. They took that away, but it ended up costing them in the end.
And here we see the Keating trying to take advantage, going the other way, and Lyle with the grab and the jump throw. Of course, no chance to get Keating, and that will need to go as an infield single. So again, the Ironmen with one out now. McKay to second, Keating to first for cleanup hitter Watkin.
Yeah, one of their better hitters at the plate with a .346 average, and he's solid.
And
he's got 4 homers on the year as well. One's popped up.
That's a pop foul. Lyle with a chance on that one. He camps under it.
That's a big break for McCarthy and the Royals to get Watkins on that. That's a big play.
So Watkin with the F5. Or P5, depending on how you like to call it, either the fly ball or the pop-up. I always go with F.
Another solid hitter coming up in Blake Gallagher, hitting .343. Another tough at-bat.
Gallagher a single and reached on an error to the third baseman Lyle, who's been fairly busy down at the hot corner tonight.
Gallagher's got 15 RBIs on the season, so that's not a bad number.
That's into the dirt. That will advance the runners. And McCarthy covers the plate just in case, but no Chatham runner's going to take a chance on that one. That ball tossed out of play, I think maybe because it was in the mud, Rob. You don't see a lot of balls tossed out of here in the senior league. Certainly not like the majors where the ball gets scuffed just once and it's thrown out.
Yeah, we're not on quite the operating budgets as the major league teams, unfortunately. Baseballs aren't cheap. It's a nice fastball. McCarthy blew that one by Gallagher.
Takes the count to 2-1. Chatham needing a hit here for Gallagher to plate some runs and get back in this ball game.
Yeah, McCarthy's got to come right at them here. Let your defense help you. Come right at them. Throw fastballs. Come right at them. There's no use running these counts up at this point.
Well, that will go as ball 4. And I think there were a lot of people, including the batter, not real sure whether that was a ball or a strike. I know I wasn't sure.
I don't think Gallagher would have argued if it was a called strike. It was a close pitch. But either way, he draws a walk. And that'll load the bases for Chatham.
Yeah, on 2 walks and a single. And we'll see if McCarthy can pitch out of the jam once again. Kavanaugh gives it his all, but that's going to be out of play. No chance on that one. Home plate umpire Kyle Woodworth collecting some more baseballs. Several fell out of play here in the last little bit.
I would suggest McCarthy's best bet right here is to come right at them, try to keep the ball down in the strike zone and look for a ground ball and possibly a double play. I guess doesn't need it. There's 2 out now. 1 out. That's all he needs.
And as we said earlier, Dixon, one of the hottest hitters. Hottest hitters in the league, reached twice on fielder's choice here, so he's put the ball in play twice in this game, so he's getting back to ball.
My mistake, there is 2 out. Keeps that ball low and gets a ground ball, and they get out of this. Good job there by Kavanaugh to keep that in front of him. He's had a stellar game defensively, Kavanaugh. He's been a standout tonight as far as I'm concerned.
And certainly catching one of the places where we're seeing a number of different Royals this year behind the plate, and Aaron Johnson, of course, hasn't been as available as the Royals maybe would have liked. Certainly, had he been available more often, you'd see his name back there a lot more. But
exactly. I think McCarthy feels the strike zone might be getting squeezed a little here, but I'm not sure from up here. We can't tell.
I think that was a little bit high, maybe. Seemed to be across the plate to me.
Definitely had to be high.
2-2 count, bases juiced.
There's what he
back
needed
up
right
the
there.
Middle, ground ball gobbled up
needed.
by Washburn, and the easy toss.
Low fastball.
Toss to Jonathan So once again, McCarthy pitches out of trouble to hold the Ironmen scoreless. 1 hit, 2 base on balls. Chatham can't put one across despite having the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the 5th with the Royals leading 8-0.
Tune in this Monday and pin it for a high-octane behind-the-scenes look at the sport of motocross right here in the Maritimes. Host Jimmy Chamberlain is a seasoned vet and knows his way around and off the track. It's the Age of Motocross, Monday at 8:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
8-9-1 due up for the Royals here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Colby Lyle, Mackenzie Washburn, and Tanner Banks are due up here. And we have a defensive change just relayed by the umpire to the press box. Tyler McKay in for Watkin. And Ironman thinking a little bit ahead here tomorrow with that doubleheader. Certainly you want to get a bit of rest for your catcher if you can. And they need to travel 2 hours back Highway 8 to Chatham tonight. And then no matter which way they go to St. John, there's a couple options they have. They're looking at almost 300 kilometers and 3 hours to make that trip for the doubleheader. So they'll have a lot of miles on when they arrive in St. John and be looking to shake off a little bit of the travel wearies by the time they get there tomorrow for that doubleheader.
Well, particularly catchers, other than the pitchers, catchers are obviously the hardest working players on the field in general. That's why they call them the tools of ignorance, somewhat like a goaltender.
2 balls, 1 strike to Lyle.
Fatigue definitely will play a factor. This game would be better. Chatham would be better served to be 10-run ruled here than they are to fight back and make it a long game at this point.
Well, you're brave for saying that, Rob, for sure. I don't think anyone would ever say you want to give up, but I see your point in terms of exhausting a lot of energy here in advance of the doubleheader, and maybe pulling Watkin is the first sign of that. Certainly Fredericton, a couple substitutions on their defensive side of the inning.
Well, not necessarily conceding anything. I just mean along the lines of, a guy who's tired and you want him behind the plate to catch those 2 stronger arms tomorrow. You got to give him a rest. So these guys aren't Major League Baseball players. They work jobs, and fatigue's definitely a factor.
Lyle knocks one back weakly to the pitcher, fielded nicely by King and over to Leggett at first base, and he doubles that one up easily for the first out.
Number 42, Mackenzie Washburn.
Brings up Mackenzie Washburn 0 for 2 with an F7 and a ground ball back to the pitcher tonight. And Rob, you're guys into the whole fitness thing. Talk a little bit about what that means at this level in terms of senior baseball and the fitness level of these players.
Well, I can tell you that most of them that I know of, there's a chain of gyms in the city, which I won't mention. However, most of these guys are familiar faces in the gyms over the winter. I mean, I know Nick Cadet is around. He's in the gym. Dave Crossman, Jody, and obviously Jody's wife competes in physique competition, so he's in the gym a lot. Most of these guys, I don't know any of them that aren't in the gym in some, at least, not necessarily weight training. Some of them just do fitness, but they're all into something.
And of course, as we've already mentioned, several multi-sport athletes here as well, McCarthy and Crossman, certainly on the Royal side, and I'm sure the same would be true on the Chatham side, and players all across the league do phenomenal work to stay in game shape, and as you said, lead an outside life as well, where they're either a student or they've got a job, regular job like you or I. So
exactly.
Accommodations to everyone who can play in the league and do so at such a high level, and baseball in New Brunswick really only getting stronger, and certainly here in the senior league, maybe as strong as I've ever seen it. You look at the standings, and there's parity, and certainly, as we've said a few times, even the number 5 team in the league, nobody wants to face Charlottetown in the playoffs the way they're playing at all. And Moncton, the number 4 team, of course, was in the final here last year against Fredericton. So there's a lot to be decided, and a lot of good baseball, and a lot of great athletes.
There's no weak links as far as teams go. There is none. There's some teams that have a little more depth, but there's no weak links in this league. As far as these guys living their life outside of this baseball or whatever sport they happen to be playing at the time of year, you got kudos to their wives and families as well for putting up with them being out 3 or 4 nights a week. I think they'd rather be vacationing somewhere than sitting here at the ball field necessarily.
0-1 count, 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Tanner Banks, right fielder for the Royals, on a base on balls in the 1st and singled and scored in the 4th. Behind here, 0-2. And that's certainly high.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Dave Crossman played for St. Thomas University hockey. So, I mean, there's another high-level, athletic, although they've shut down operations now. But, to be playing 2 sports like that, that's pretty high level of conditioning you would require.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Banks stays alive. And Banks takes that one back to center field. Ori Cook circling under that one and makes a nice running catch in center for the fly ball. A fairly quick inning there for the Royals. No runs on no hits. Cook gathers that one into center. And we will go to the top of the 6th inning once again with Chatham needing to score some runs to get themselves back into this game.
There's something I have to show you.
Get the ultimate entertainment experience with the Movie Network. Let's go! We got the latest releases and the hottest stars. Wow. But it gets even better.
Oh my God.
Now with the TMN Go app, you can download the biggest movies.
Hi, boy.
Plus groundbreaking HBO series.
Yeah!
And watch anytime, anywhere.
I'm ready.
No internet connection needed.
Wait, what?
It's all included with your subscription to the Movie Network.
Did I ever tell you guys the story of how
That guy almost ripped my shirt off.
I come here to drown my sorrows? You're fresh.
I'm gonna cut some pancetta.
Am I right, bro?
I can't decide how many powers you'd need to have to be more important than folk music.
I'm just going to saw this log while you continue to talk. I've been through a lot of accidents in my life, almost more than I can tell. And scene.
Cheese Monkey Box Pirate, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the Royals field here for the top of the 6th inning. A few more defensive changes. Pascal McCarthy out of the game after 5 innings. 5 innings pitched. And coming in is former center fielder Wood, of course. Ton of RBIs here in this game, so he gets a chance to throw a little bit here on the mound. He's been on the mound a few times this year, Rob.
Corey Woods sees a lot of relief duty, actually. He eats up a lot of innings for the Royals.
So defensive changes for the Royals. Sean Reed, the DH, goes out to left field. Tanner Banks moves into center in Wood's spot. And Nick Gaudette moves over to right. Yeah, Wood certainly not a sparkling ERA in his appearances, Rob.
He's thrown 13 innings according to the statistics here, giving up 16 hits. But again, primarily not a pitcher. But he does eat up some innings for them when they need him. Throws fairly hard as well. He struck out 9 hitters in that 13 innings, which isn't bad.
Right fielder Dixon sends that one sky high. And it lands foul, and no one could see that one at all. So that one goes straight up and comes straight down for a strike.
We'll allow Kavanaugh some leeway on that one. He's played so well tonight defensively. We'll give him that one.
I had just been looking around, Rob, and was going to say there's a bit of fog moving in here to Royals Field just a little bit, and certainly a number of bugs. So easy to lose that in the lights when you turn around and look, and a little bit of mist here in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Not quite the Memorial Field St. John fog rolling in, but a little bit of fog here.
Any of those balls that are hit high up in the lights, it's not easy. Until you've played under them, an outfielder, it's an art, that's for sure, to master those. They're hard to pick up.
Levi ahead in the count 3-1.
Wood's been high since he came in. He's been throwing the fastball, but they've been high pitches, all up around the eyes at least.
Leggett with a strikeout and reached on a hit by pitch in this game.
Corey might be better off to take a little off that and just get the strikes, throw some strikes and let the fielders help him.
Get a little bit better bend of the back on that one, get over a little bit. Certainly throwing from the mound a lot different than throwing from the outfield. You have to get the back over a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Still staying high. 2 balls, no strikes. Royals not holding the runner on first, and that pass ball or a wild pitch, whichever that will go as, will send him to second.
On a 3-0 count.
So Nolan Levi advances. And Rob, as we've talked about in this ballpark, there have been some comebacks. Even between these two teams this year, there was a couple games early in the year that were some big comebacks. So nothing is insurmountable here in terms of runs. Of course, both teams taking out a few of their regulars. Certainly not conceding the game by any means, and things can turn on a dime. So from Wood's standpoint, what you want to do here is come in and try to throw strikes. Not successful there in walking Levi, so 2 walks.
2 walks on 9 pitches, I believe.
Matt Lozier, second baseman, reached on a walk.
Royals need Corey Wood to throw strikes here. Even if he takes some velocity off, he's got to come into the strike zone. This isn't helping anybody right now. And it's a tough situation to come in, too.
And right fielder Gaudette retrieving a stray ball from the stands there for a momentary delay in the game. Wood sets from the stretch. That one also is high.
Come on now, bend right over.
You can hear from the stands encouraging Wood to bend the back over. And just as we were talking about, that's what he needs to do to get that ball down just a bit more.
He could be a bit stiff as well from not a lot of work in the outfield earlier. But the way he's been swinging the bat, he sure doesn't seem stiff at the plate.
Wood, of course, with the home run, 6 RBIs total in the game. That one, little check swing fouled back by Lozier. Give Wood a strike that maybe not otherwise would have been.
Again, I think it was high.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. And now in the 2-2 count, Lozier still has to be defensive here a little bit, although you want to make it be a strike. You don't want to go down looking.
You can't keep issuing free passes, and the Royals could find themselves in trouble before they know it. They have an 8-run lead for sure, but in this park.
That one straight back at us, and I only flinched a little bit. 2-2 count. Chatham down by 8 runs here in the top of the 6th inning. That one's another pop up to the infield, and Wood's going to camp underneath that one. He's going to take that one himself.
Being an outfielder, he has no problem picking those up. The general rule being the fielders would play that. But
and there's a good look at there's a bit of fog around the lights, so you can see how that would be lost in the lights looking up. And good job by Wood to take charge of that one and not let his catcher have to deal with that one. And there you see Kavanaugh again pointing up and making sure all the fielders take note of the conditions changing here a little bit at Royals Field.
For a catcher, too, they have to pull that mask off and get their bearings. It's not as simple as people think to, and especially when those things are hit a mile high. They're hard to pick up.
And then deal with the spin on the baseball and which direction it's going.
When it does come down. High again. He's got to bend that back.
Ori Cook at the plate. Single, strikeout, and a ground ball to second. And he's not really liked the calls he's been getting from the umpire. That strike call right there is the one that he's not liked all game, and he's complaining a little bit about that one there for sure.
I don't think he's doing himself any favors chirping either. The umpires don't forget easily.
No, I think
they're more professional than that, obviously, but at the same time, yeah, that one there could have been that was questionable. So maybe he got it evened up, but again, these umpires are good.
3 balls, 1 strike.
I don't think anybody's got a legitimate beef with him tonight at all.
There's another base on balls. We'll load the bases on 3 walks. Coach Lint out for a mound visit here.
There's been potential scoring chances for Chatham, probably 4 innings now. If we look back, you play with fire, you're going to get burned, as they say. So the Royals need to make an adjustment here. But Corey Wood knows that. He's smart enough ball player to know that, he's got to throw strikes.
So quick visit from Lint, and looking ahead to the remaining schedule for the Royals. Of course, this game here next Thursday in Chatham, which of course is another game that could have impact on the standings, and then next Friday night home to St. John, which could also decide certainly home field in one of the series, maybe even decide who's first place in that one. So lots to look forward to, and lots of important games remaining. Certainly hope that fans of baseball in New Brunswick get out and watch some of this great baseball. And I believe we're back here next Friday night with Rogers for that final game against St. John. I know I'll get corrected by the director if I'm not correct on that one, but I believe we are back here next Friday for that final game, and that should be a doozy.
Wood struggling again with this hitter with the high pitches.
3-0, and he's going to walk in a run.
Walked in a run.
On 4 base on balls. So that brings up Keating. And a hit here, Rob, can certainly bring the Ironmen right back into the game. Something to the wall, could score 2 or 3. And Keating certainly very capable. Already has a single in the game.
Keating has 13 RBIs on the season too, so he's a good hitter, tough hitter.
And veteran hitter, and certainly he's going to make Wood bring that ball down get it in the strike zone, I would think, before he swings at anything. Unless, of course, there's a big juicy one right in there that he just can't lay off of. But
well, at this point, you've got to take a pitch. He's thrown so many high pitches and so many balls and issued so many walks. At this point, you've got to take a pitch or two.
2-0 count after 4 walks here by Corey Wood in the 6th inning, and no action in the Royals pen, save for the local youth down there playing catch and playing pickle. So that's all we're getting for action. So it's Wood's game here for now, at least.
Yeah, I think he just needs to settle down. There's a strike.
There he brings that one down.
That's where he needs to be.
So 3-0 count. Keating taking all the way, and you'd think after all those pitches he's taking all the way here because he's going to get the same thing at 3-2 as he is at 3-1. You would think.
You would think.
And no, he's not taking all the way. There's a base hit to right field. Cadet fields. Chatham plates one more run. That's Nick Leggett coming in to score. Chatham's second run of the inning on the first hit. And there, Keating, solid contact on that one. On that all the way. Tracked down nicely by Cadet in the outfield. And brought back in quickly.
Those walks come back to haunt you in a big way. Especially if you walk the first couple of hitters of the inning. I think we're seeing that now.
So now here we have Tyler McKay at the plate with the bases loaded. And Rob, this is the spot where we would normally have cleanup hitter Jeff Watkin, the catcher, who they substituted in.
Maybe regretting that at this point, possibly. However, he's a competent hitter, or they wouldn't have him in there.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ironmen have got 2 here in the 6th inning, and bases loaded, looking to add several more. Close the gap to 6 runs, and
it looks like Corey Wood may be taking a little bit off that fastball, and the way that that base hit was jumped on, it looked like he took some velocity off of that pitch, maybe to get it in the strike zone, which I still think is a better option than issuing free passes. So
as the fog builds in here even just a little bit more, you can see it, I think, on the monitor, a little bit of fog, and certainly condensation coming off some of the players as they move about.
The mosquitoes came in with the fog, I believe, too.
I think they did. I thought for a second that was you getting a little frisky there under the table with me, but I believe it was only a mosquito.
That's another tough play.
Grounded to third, grabbed by Lyle. Chatham's going to score another run on that.
That was a nice play, however, by Lyle.
So Tyler McKay out on the ground ball to third. And here we see the replay, Rob. Lyle with another tough play over at third. He's certainly been busy. Strong throw to first base, gets his feet set, and a good dig out there by Mackenzie Washburn at first base.
Yes, it was. Lyle's been solid defensively. There hasn't been a lot of ground balls or fly balls to be played. A lot of it's been the pitcher-catcher.
So we've got Mike McKay at third, Chris Keating at second.
With an 8-3 score now.
8-3 score, and Blake Gallagher, the shortstop, at the plate.
One of Chatham's better hitters. Hitting at a 349 clip. So he's a guy they'd like to have up there at this point.
Certainly one swing here, and this is a very different ball game if you can get one up in the air and out of here.
That's for sure.
And Wood again can't find the strike zone.
No.
Already issued 4 walks this inning, a single, and a run-scoring ground out.
I would think Coach Lent would have talked to him in regards to bending. It's quite obvious when you're high, when you're throwing pitches that high, your mechanics are a little off, and that's just a matter of bending a little more at the waist. Maybe exaggerating the pitch a little bit to bring it down.
So bases loaded for Dixon, who's put the bat on the ball every time and was the hottest hitter in the league, 6 for 8 coming into this one.
Again, high from Wood.
And certainly the Royals playing with fire here in terms of the number of runners. In the first 5 innings, Chatham left 8 runners on base in total.
They had their chances for sure, Chatham, and now they're capitalizing on these ones. There's a strike from Wood. That's where he needs to be. He needs to keep that ball down. If they hit it, chances are it's going to be on the ground, and let the infielders do the work.
So this is the 9th man to the plate here in the inning, and that one gets through third base Lyle. That one stayed low, and Lyle did not.
It was hit hard, but it's an error for sure, I would.
Here we take another look on the replay to have a chance to see whether that's an error or a hit.
Sharply
still
hit.
think it could go that either way. Sharply hit.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the official scorer scores that.
So that's a tough judgment call for any official scorer on that one.
Hard hit ball.
Tough to take a hit away, but at the same time, that's a ball that I think may be fielded when that's hit.
A lot of times that ball would have come up, and it didn't. It stayed right on the ground. I think that's what threw Lyle off.
And that ball is hit with a little bit of authority by Levi.
Suddenly we've got an 8-4 ball game.
Chatham with bases loaded, and one swing of the bat here, Rob, and it's an 8-8 ball game. So, as we said, anything can happen at Royals Field.
With that short porch down the lines, you never know. I've seen 22-20 games here before. I was involved in one, unfortunately. I was pitching part of one. Against Chatham, as a matter of fact, many moons ago.
That would be a long game for anyone involved.
It was a long game, what I remember of it. I wasn't on the mound long enough to remember much of that.
Only for the last 3 outs?
Yeah. Shut the door. 22-20, I think it was.
2-2 count. Bases loaded. Ironman looking to add more here. And there we are. At now 3-2, so now this will be exciting here, Rob.
This is a big pitch.
Everybody will be moving. This is a big pitch. This is either the 5th run
or the 3rd out.
Or the 3rd out at least here.
And he missed high.
He missed high for the walk.
Walked another run in. And that'll be it for Corey Wood, I believe.
So, Nick Leggett will come to the plate with the bases loaded against a new Fredericton pitcher. Ironmen have now sent 10 men to the plate here in the inning, scored 5 runs. And of course, bases still loaded, 2 out. And Rob, this is probably a good chance to take a look at Fredericton's pickups for Nationals. Of course, August 24th to 27th in in Victoria. 4 members of this Chatham team, as we've already talked about, Naveau, Keating, Watkin, and Gallagher. 3 from number 2 team in the league, St. John. Pitcher O'Toole, infielder first baseman Devin Thomas, who was with the Royals last year, and infielder Mark Phillips, of course, former batting champ out of Nova Scotia, I believe. PEI pitcher Brody McDonald and Moncton pitcher Sam Lund. So picking up a number of arms, maybe a couple notable players from around the league that weren't part of the pickups for one reason or another. Jordan Stevenson in PEI, of course, one of the top pitchers, and I believe leading the league in wins. And then you have to look at Serge Vautour in Moncton as an outfielder, second in the league in home runs, and I think second in RBIs as well, at least if I recall the stats correctly. So certainly a lot of choices and a lot of good pickups for Fredericton will supplement their lineup, and lots of reasons why certainly guys can't go or may not be able to make those types of commitments. And certainly it's a big one if you're from PEI and you got to get to Fredericton and then you go all the way to Victoria and get time off work to participate in that. It's something that's not even your own team. So, but looking at those, Rob, certainly you'd expect to see some of those guys in the infield. And when you go to those type of events, you can never have enough number 1 pitchers for sure.
The guy that jumps out at me as one, probably, in my opinion, the biggest pickup is Sam Lund. He impressed me in the Nationals, and I've watched him pitch, and he's a gem. Not that the other guys, not to take anything away from the other pickups by any means, but Sam Lund he's a stud.
He's among the leaders in pitching in the league for sure. And of course, headlined it all by a guy who will likely pitch tomorrow in St. John, Jack Shannon, the import pitcher for St. John. Of course, I don't know for sure that he's going to pitch, but I would guess, given the matchup tomorrow with Chatham, he'll get one of those games.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't get one of them. So
here we have Sean Reed in to pitch for the Royals. Reed, of course, with the no-hitter here last year in the final game of the playoffs last year to clinch it. So he's no stranger to the mound himself, and probably used out of the bullpen mostly for the Royals this year. I believe he's had a start or two. So he comes in looking to find the strike zone.
Throws hard.
He is a hard thrower. Falls behind 3-0 to Nick Leggett.
Not ideal. Coming in and after the walks that have been issued already. Wood struggled on the mound, unfortunately, but he had a great night at the plate. Corey Wood, so he has contributed. So.
And Leggett with a good look at that one. Certainly now 3-1 count, bases loaded. Big pitch here. Leggett fouls that one off.
Just barely. Just got a piece of it.
That didn't look like the fastball to me, was it, Rob?
If it was inside. It looked like it almost got him on the hands almost. Might have jammed him.
So you're probably going to see the best gas that he's got right here. And there it was.
There it was.
Through it.
For the strikeout.
So Leggett strikes out to end the inning. The Ironmen score 5 runs and send 11 men to the plate. Most of the damage done on the walks. I believe only 1 hit in the inning. And we will go to the bottom of the 6th inning with us a very different ball game now. Royals leading the Ironmen 8-5.
Tune in to Rogers TV for Jared and the Storytellers, and hear some of the best musical talent New Brunswick has to offer. Join songwriter Jared Lutz as he hosts, performs, and interviews musicians during each episode, with a lighthearted approach and a focus on songs and the stories behind them. Jared and the Storytellers will have you craving for more homegrown music on Rogers TV.
We go to the bottom of the 6th inning here at Royals Field. 2-3-4 up for the Royals. However, there have been a number of substitutions, so it's not the 2-3-4 that started the game, Rob. Instead of Crossman, Washburn, and Peterson, we have Jonathan So, and then Mike Washburn and Nick Gadet. So certainly a different 2-3-4 than what we had. And Rob, what's the line on So so far this year?
Well, So's hitting. His batting average is probably not indicative of his hitting ability. He's only hitting $125 right now. He's got he's got 10 at bats, so he's relatively new to the circuit. I'm sure he's a better hitter than a 125. Could definitely use something here from him.
Two balls, one strike, and make it pretty clear that the fans in attendance here didn't think that was a strike at all. King delivers again, and that's high for the 3rd ball.
King's done a job for Chatham tonight. He came in and basically shut the door. He hasn't been stellar, but he's been just what they needed. Well, they got back in the game. They snuck back into the game while he's been on the mound.
You'd still have to think if he starts getting in trouble here, the rope may get a little bit shorter than it was. Chatham's battled back into this game, and certainly, with down 3 runs, with 1 more at bat, they would want to hold it right there if they possibly can.
For sure.
And So earns the base on balls, ducking out of the way of that one.
Number 5, Mike Washburn.
That brings up Washburn, who has been on base 3 times, 2 base on balls, 2 runs scored. and a big single in the first inning for the first Royals hit of the game. So regardless of what happened so far, Rob, the storyline has been Corey Wood, both with the bat and on the mound, responsible for most of the 13 runs scored here today on both sides.
Exactly. He won't be pleased with himself. He's a better ball player than that. He's a better pitcher than that, for that matter.
And certainly performed well on the mound for the Royals last year in the playoffs and down the stretch. So disappointing from the Royals' perspective to see him not be able to get back to that pitching level. And certainly as the games get more critical here, that's an arm you were hoping you could get straightened around from the Royals' perspective.
Well, nobody will be as upset with him as himself. He will be he won't be satisfied with that performance. Didn't matter if he knocked in 20 runs; it wouldn't matter after the pitching performance. He won't be satisfied with that at all. Next time out, I expect you'll see better things from him. He had an off night. Everybody has them.
3 balls, no strikes. That one is in for the strike. I have to think Washburn takes his pick here. If he likes it, he's hacking. If he doesn't, he's going to make them throw another pitch for
Pretty
sure.
He swings when he wants to, I would say. And a good choice there to lay off that high one.
He draws another base on balls.
He's a disciplined hitter.
His 3rd walk of the game to go, of course, with the single.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 20, Nick Gomez.
I don't see a better hitter in this league than Mike Washburn. He's disciplined, hits with power, hits for average. That's the reason he's in the Triple Crown running usually.
So the Royals, man on first and second with 2 walks against pitcher King. Tyler McKay taps the mitt, trying to get King focused on that area as he delivers this next pitch. The 1-0. And there it is, right to the mitt that time. One. Royals on first and second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. That's by the catcher Tyler McKay. The Royals runners will advance.
There was definitely a mix-up in the pitch call there, or location for sure.
And I think pitcher King just tapped his chest, indicating that he was maybe responsible for that one. I'm not sure if that exactly was the motion. I think he may be
I would say
owning up to that one as not being on the catcher.
They just don't go by that easily without a mistake on somebody's part. That's quite a breaking ball right there.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes on the good hook.
Tough to hit.
Yeah, there's a reason I stopped playing at a young age. As soon as I started throwing those things, yeah, I was done.
He tried to come back with it again, but it missed.
I can certainly remember some not so memorable games of catch with my older brother where he would just say he was throwing a curveball, and I would end up with a big welt somewhere, usually on my forehead.
He was a lefty, too.
He was a lefty, yes. And I think that was generally when he was about done playing catch with me. He'd say curveball, and I would flail the glove wildly, even though it might not have been a curveball.
That's what little brothers are for, Bill. I used mine for the same thing.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Royals runners at second and third, nobody out.
It's a tough
that's
play.
Grounded to the third baseman Keating. He gobbles that up, throws to first to Leggett, holds the runners. That's a great play.
It was a good hustle by Gaudette to try to get down there. So we've got runners on second and third, 1 out.
The center fielder, number 10, Corey Wood.
You can bet Corey Wood's looking to bounce back here at the plate.
Wood working on a 3-hit 6 RBI game, a home run, a single, and a double.
I'm wondering if they might be considering putting him on with 1 out.
I'm on to pitch to Reed, possibility.
I would say they very well might put him. No, they're not going.
That might be the be very careful conversation.
Could be. It should have been if it wasn't.
And King steps off, gather himself here. Certainly a big moment. He's looking to hold the Ironmen in this game, down only by 3 now, after the 5 runs in the top of the inning.
Another breaking ball. That's a nice pitch.
He started off throwing hard when he first came in, but he seems to be going more and more to that breaking ball.
Well, if it's working, I guess you go with it, right? He's got 2 different breaking balls. One's a sharper break and one's more of a looping, like a slider.
There's an easy ground ball down the first baseline. A little confusion there. Gobbled up by the second baseman Logier, who dives to first base to make the out.
Bit of a strange play there.
At least I think that's what happened there. Yeah, and he walks the ball back to the mound. Bit confused there in the mass of people, and there they all look at that. Here we have another look at that play, and the number of Ironman bodies at first base. He's the only one that can get there, so that's a good play on his part. Looking at that replay.
Yeah, the other 2 weren't going to get there.
The pitcher couldn't get there, and Leggett, who looked like he was going to field that ball. So there's another chopper down first, fielded by Leggett. Boy, he's been something over there at first base tonight, Rob.
He's been stellar defensively.
So out on the ground ball, 3-1. And here we'll have another look at that play that's going to end the inning for the Royals. So Leggett with the great play and the backhanded toss over to the pitcher.
Just barely got
That's a close play at first base. A couple stabs to the base. Does get the out. Royals maintain the lead 8-5, so good work by the Ironmen to hold them off the score sheet after they were threatening there. We'll go back with the Ironmen with their last chance here to score some runs in the 7th inning.
It was Vortigern who murdered your father. But what you didn't account for is what you can do with this sword.
Show the people the power of Excalibur!
We're going to South America.
Where the hell are we?
The
scenic routes.
Oh my God, we've been Liam Neeson taken! I'm gonna get us out of this.
Tune in Sunday and cruise through New Brunswick's trails with a first-hand view from a quad vehicle. Learn about new trails and clubs for the ATV enthusiast. Quad NB, Sunday at 2 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Royals Field, Rogers TV coverage of New Brunswick Senior League Baseball. We go to the top of the 7th inning with the Fredericton Royals clinging now to a 3-run lead against the Chatham Ironmen. Ironmen scored 5 runs in the last inning in the 6th and managed to hold Fredericton off the score sheet in the bottom of the inning. And with Rob Arnold, I'm Bill Gibson. Rob, certainly what looked to be a blowout is now a ball game.
Sure is. 2 runs in this field is absolutely doable. There's no doubt about that.
And officially my score sheet after that 11 runs, 11 batters to the plate and 5 runs last inning is an atrocious mess. But it's a good thing we're late in the game and hopefully won't need it for too many more.
I'm sure Corey Wood would like to forget the pitching end of it. He had a great night at the plate, but there's a base hit up the middle to start the inning.
So Roger's going to get the inning started for the Iron with a solid single back through the box.
Well, there's no quit in them. Nobody can say there is, that's for sure.
And here we see good contact on the ground ball back through the box. Reed, no chance to field that, and neither Washburn nor So as well. Picked up in center by Wood and tossed back in. So that turns the order over, Rob, and certainly a very important play there for Chatham. Brings up Ori Cook, center fielder. Base and balls last time up. Also has a single in this game. And that's outside for a ball, so Royals relief pitcher Sean Reed behind.
I don't think Cook and the umpire have a great rapport between the two of them. Cook hasn't liked many of the calls tonight, I've noticed.
And that's certainly a strike on that one, and no argument from Cook.
No doubt about that one.
Reed should be a steady diet of gas here, you would think. And that one's through the box. Reed does field that one, throws it to second to Washburn, and gets one on to first, and Cook's got too much speed. Beats that one out, even despite the nice grab by Mackenzie Washburn.
You got the first one, the lead one.
Now batting for Chatham, number 18, Jimmy Russell.
And here we see that back through the middle. Reed with a great stab, turns around, quick throw to second, a little bit low, and the relay to second base, not even, from second base, not even a chance to get Cook's speed on the fielder's choice.
I told you you had to be down there for the top of the 6th inning to play a game to win a $50 gift card. That was what it was for, yeah. When you were here before, I said, yeah, you just go down there at the end of the 5th.
Brings up Mike McKay, who's got 2 base on balls in this game. The last two at-bats in the 5th and 6th. He comes to the plate here again in the 7th.
This is a big at-bat right here for Chatham. Well, for both teams.
Oh, pardon me, Rob. I missed the pinch hitter. We've got Jimmy Russell, who's here pinch hitting.
For McKay.
And for McKay.
Russell, a .256 hitter. He's got 48 plate appearances.
Takes the ball there from Reed. And nicely gobbled up again by Cavanaugh. Rob, you've been talking about Cavanaugh all night, and certainly some big stops to keep the ball in front of him, and good grab on that one.
A good defensive catcher.
The heater from Reeder for the second strike.
He's done a heck of a job behind the plate. I would say that he's probably called a good game as well, despite the walks. I mean, he wouldn't have called for those pitches, obviously, but defensively he's been good. That's a big out, big strikeout.
Reed gets a swinging strike of Russell. And Chatham now down to the last out in the body of Chris Keating, here with 2 out. Ori Cook on first base for Chatham. Chatham down, of course, 8-5 in the top of the 7th. Need runs here and need Keating to extend the inning. And there's the bunt down the third baseline. That's going to go foul. Picked up by Reed.
Good thinking. It was a good idea. If it stayed fair, it would have been, he was on for sure.
And there's a lot of speed here at the top of this Chatham order in Cook and Keating for sure.
Keating's got 18 RBIs on the season, so he's no slouch with runners in position.
And he has a way also of rising to the occasion.
He does.
Washburn in the shift for the Royals behind second base. Keating again looking to go the other way a little bit with that one, as he did earlier in the game.
The infielders can take a step back. The bunt threat no longer there.
He's certainly down 0-2, but lots of room over on that left side.
Definitely to go the other way.
Third baseman Colby Lyle in the shortstop hole. And you'd think what that means is he's going to get inside heat here, wouldn't you, Rob? He's not going to go away and give him the opportunity to go with the pitch.
Pitch is high.
Pitch
They
is
got
high.
him.
And
Game
Cook
over.
caught stealing at second base for the third out of the game. third out of the inning and final out of the game.
I'm a bit shocked by that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange time to steal, and we'll have a look here at the replay of the final out. Good arm by Kavanaugh, right on the money, and he gets the out call on that one. A little bit closer play at the base than I thought it would here, Rob. Certainly Corey Wood, as we talked about, is the story here. 6 RBIs, and then gave a ton of walks when he came on. Big win for the Royals in terms of the standings. Guarantees now that they can't be caught for third place, so they won't end up in that 4-5 game. And now they'll be playing for seeding the rest of the way.
Definitely big win. I'm still shocked by how it ended.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked by how it ended too. And of course, for the Ironmen, that loss now means they've got 3 games on the year remaining, 2 in St. John tomorrow, which will be very big games, and then back on home field next Thursday night against the same Fredericton Royals, who've now beat them, I believe, 4 times in a row. So Chatham certainly will be looking to get back on the right side of that next Friday. Yeah, and certainly we look forward to our next broadcast here on Rogers' last game of the regular season against St. John here at Royals Field next Friday night. We hope you tune in for that. For Rob Arnold and all of our crew here at Rogers, we thank you for joining us here tonight as we have the final score here from Royals Field. The Fredericton Royals victorious with an 8-5 win over the Chatham Ironmen. Have a good night.